Good day to you and welcome to Newsflash with me, Mike Bullen. So, this is the series in which we go over some of the week's biggest news headlines from across the world and then explore the English language behind the headlines. So, with that having been said, let's get into the news. The first story of the week takes us to the BBC News website. Let's have a look. So, here is the headline: Hong Kong passes new film censorship law. All right, let's have a look at this word as our first word of the day. So, censorship. This is a noun. It has a verb, which is to censor something. If you censor something, it means that you cover up or remove part of something from something like a film, a piece of music, a TV show, or a book. Something that is censored is normally something that is considered to be immoral or offensive in some way by the people who are censoring the material. Okay, so in this case, the films are being censored. This means that the government will have the power to remove parts from films, or they can completely cover up certain parts in films, books, TV shows, and so on. Or they can simply ban the film completely so that the public cannot see that film at all. There we are. So let's have a look at one of the paragraphs in the article in language focus mode and see if we can learn a little bit more about this story here. Okay, so here is the paragraph. Hong Kong's legislature has passed a new law banning films deemed to violate China's national security interests, the latest blow to freedom of expression in the territory. All right then, so our first word in this paragraph is going to be legislature. Legislature, which is a noun. A legislature is a group of officials in the government who make new laws. Legislation is another noun, and this refers to laws in general. This word also has a verb, which is to legislate, and that is to create new laws. There we are. So, Hong Kong's legislature, the lawmakers, has passed a new law banning films deemed to violate China's national security interests. Okay, so we have got two verbs here, the first of which is deem, and then the second is violate. Deem. If you deem something to be something, this means that you are saying that thing is something. There's a lot of some things there. Let me give you an example. So this pen here, a lovely red pen of mine, one of my favorites in fact. This pen here, I deem this pen to be red because it is red. All right. But how about if I say, I deem this pen to be an elephant? Oh, it's not an elephant, is it? Of course. However, I deem it to be an elephant. It means I've decided that this pen is an elephant. I'm assuming you disagree with me, but hey, I deem it to be that. You see what I mean? So that's to deem something. Deem something to be something. So if we look back in the language focus, a new law banning films. So the films have been deemed to violate. So we've got the next verb here. This is important because deem to is almost always used with a second verb after. In this case, it's violate. Violate means to break the laws, break rules here. Do something wrong, violate. Okay. So, the new law banning films deemed to violate what? What's being violated? China's national security interests. Okay, and this is the latest blow to freedom of expression. So, we have got some nouns here. First of all, we have got blow. Something is a blow to something else. Okay, this means that something is damaging something, or it has prevented it from happening and simply no longer allows that thing to happen easily. It's damaged it. A blow. A blow, right? You hit someone, that is a blow. So a blow to something, it's damaged. Okay, so the latest blow to what? A blow to, damage to, freedom of expression. So freedom of something. Freedom of expression. Here, expression refers to the ability for people to express themselves. Show your feelings. Say what you want to say. So, it's a blow to freedom of expression. So, the ability to express yourself freely has been reduced or damaged. That's what it's saying here. Okay, the latest blow to freedom of expression in the territory. And the territory is the place, which in this case is Hong Kong. Okay. Right then, well, that was story number 1. Let's check out story number 2. Story number 2 of this week is going to be on AP News. Let's have a look what they've got for us today. All right, the headline is Japan's Princess Mako. Sorry, Japanese people, if I'm mispronouncing her name. Japanese Princess Mako marries commoner, loses royal status. Okay then, so let's have a look at commoner first of all. So, a commoner is a noun. It's related to the ADJ common, normal, typical, usual. Okay, if you are a commoner, it means that you are just a normal person when it comes to being in a class of person. So, in a society, you have the high classes, and then you have the low classes, and the commoners are normally down here, okay? So, you've got the princesses and kings, and then you've got your normal people down here. Common people, common folk, okay? So, the princess, she decided to marry a commoner here, and in doing so, she has lost royal status. Okay, so, royal, ADJ, it refers to being a member of the royal family in your country here. There we go. Okay, so let's have a look at a paragraph from the story. Into language focus mode we go. So, Japanese Princess Mako quietly married a commoner without traditional wedding celebrations Tuesday and said their marriage, delayed 3 years and opposed by some, was a necessary choice to live while cherishing our hearts. Okay, so you can see we've got that noun commoner up here again. So, married a commoner without traditional, ADJ, traditional wedding celebrations. So, if something is traditional, it means that is the thing that is considered normal to do, or it's the thing people have been doing for a long time. So you can say traditional wedding, traditional festival, traditional music. Any noun really can be put after traditional. So there we go. So, married a commoner without traditional wedding celebrations Tuesday and said their marriage. Okay, have a look at these. We've got dashes. These dashes here are separating a part of the sentence. All right, so sometimes we can use a dash to replace other words that we would normally use here. So here, if we did not use the dashes, we might say something like, wedding celebrations Tuesday and said their marriage, comma, which has been delayed by 3 years and opposed by some, comma, and then the quote after that, you see. So dashes can be useful to replace certain words. There we are. And it can also make the separation of a part of a sentence more obvious too. Now, in the dashes, we have got 2 verbs, okay. So, said their marriage, delayed 3 years and opposed by some. So, delay. To delay something is to not do it right now, but instead to do it later, in the future. We will do it later. A similar word to delay is the verb to postpone something as well. Okay, so their marriage had been delayed by 3 years already, and also has been opposed by some. So this verb here, to oppose something, means to be against that thing. Okay, so delayed 3 years and opposed by some, and then the quote, was a necessary choice to live while cherishing our hearts. Okay, so this final verb here is a lovely one. To cherish something means to very, very, very highly appreciate something. Okay, so my favorite red pen here. I cherish this pen. I really do. I love it very much. Probably my favorite pen of all time, actually. At least for red. So there we go. To cherish something. Okay, there we go. So that was story number 2, which takes us to the third and final story of today's video. So let's have a look at that. Story number 3, our final of the video, brings us to The Guardian's website. So let's have a look. All right then, so we have got G20 must say goodbye to fossil fuel and recommit to Paris 1.5C goal. Okay then, so G20. This refers to the 20 big countries in the world who come together and make very important decisions. All right, so they must say goodbye to fossil fuels here. So fossil fuels, a noun, are things from the earth that are burned for fuel. So for example, oil is a fossil fuel, which is then made to produce petrol and gas. Things like that to power our cars are called fossil fuels. Okay, so say goodbye to fossil fuel and recommit. Okay, recommit to something, which is a verb. All right, so let's just go back. We'll go to just commit. Let's look at commit to start with. If you commit to something, it means that you are fully invested in and that you have decided to definitely do something. Okay, I am committed to doing this. Okay, so you're really going to do that thing. You're not going to stop. All right. However, if we go for recommit to something, so you've got which means repeat, do it again, one more time, or commit again to doing something. There we are. So they've recommitted to Paris 1.5C for Celsius, for measuring temperature, goal. Let's have a look down and find a paragraph to explore from this article here. Wow, so we've got some serious vocabulary to explore for this paragraph. Right, so the Glasgow COP26 talks could fail before the conference even begins. This weekend, just as COP26 starts, the G20 are meeting in Rome. This is a moment of maximum trepidation, as those 20 developed and emerging economies account for 78% of global greenhouse gas emissions. In the first sentence, we have got this verb structure here. So, talks could fail before the conference even begins. Okay, so first of all, a conference, that is a big meeting between lots of organizations. In this case, it is governments, a big conference there. And the conference is COP26, or you can just say COP26, like I did there. Okay, so the talks between the countries could fail before the conference even begins. So this is a very common verb phrase that we use here. Something could fail even before something begins. Okay, you see what I mean there? Now, if someone made a chocolate pizza for me, then I would say my appetite failed even before the meal could begin. You see what I mean? I saw that chocolate pizza. No, I'm not having it, okay? Please, take it away. Okay then, so this weekend, just as COP26 starts, the G20 are meeting in Rome. This is a moment of maximum, the highest level there, maximum, trepidation. And all right, so this is a good noun, okay? Trepidation means that you are nervous for something or anxious about something. Okay, so of maximum trepidation, as those 20 developed and emerging economies. Okay, so here we've got emerging, which is actually an ADJ. Looks like it would be a verb, doesn't it? But in this sentence, it's an ADJ because along with developed, which is also an ADJ, it describes the noun economies here. So what does it mean? ADJ, emerging. If something is emerging, it means it's growing. It's growing, basically, okay? All right, so these emerging economies account for 78% of something. Okay then, so if something accounts for, it means that it makes up part of something, okay? Here's an example. I never eat chocolate pizza, ever, as you probably have realized by now. So I could say, chocolate pizza accounts for 0% of my diet. Yeah, I never eat it. I never eat it. So that's what it means. A part of something doesn't make any part of my diet, okay? They account for 78%, a large part of global greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gas is a noun here. So greenhouse gases, they normally cause the planet to warm up. That's what it's talking about there. So greenhouse gas emissions. The emissions are the gases. They are emitted. It comes from the verb to emit. The gases are emitted into the air, okay? So those are the emissions, you would say. All the greenhouse gases coming from the cars, you would say those are emissions. Those are emissions. Well, I do believe that is everything I have for you in this week's episode of Newsflash. As always, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you managed to learn lots of fresh new vocabulary to use. If you did, please do consider giving the video a like, and also please do note that all articles in today's video are down below in the description, okay? So, I hope you have a good weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again in a future episode of Newsflash. See you later.